Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for the love, especially for my last video, because I know it was a bit personal and I strongly believe we should all be able, to just reflect and give people flowers while they can still smell them. I still stand by that message. If it's your first time here, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Renji Stella. Please like, please subscribe, share, but also comment, because I need to hear from you. Now guys, today's topic is really heavy and it's so close to home, but before I can get into it, I do not want to forget to say this. Your girl got a Facebook today from Lisa, so get in touch with Lisa. I had a photo shoot earlier on and I just said, you know what, why not share some of this goodness? But also I really needed to talk about this. So about 2 weeks ago, Uganda woke up to a headline of confirming its first case of Ebola that was confirmed in Mobende district. Boy, oh boy, as I speak right now, we have 50 cases and 7 deaths. And some of the cases, we have medical personnel that were in Mobende district, and these are apparently the ones who first got into contact with the first person, and which really is not so surprising, because in cases of this, if a patient really comes in, you may not know what they're suffering from, so before you can get your head right, you've already been in contact. Now, speaking of contact, for those of you who don't know what Ebola is a killer disease caused by a virus, and the virus is spread by contact with bats and monkeys, and also by contact with a person infected by the Ebola virus. But now this is what I want you to take home, because Ebola spreads quickly from person to person, kills in a short time, but can be prevented. And speaking of prevention, there is already, because Uganda has had different cases, and also our neighboring countries, especially Congo, which has had cases after cases, year after year, struggling with this. There's a vaccine, but unfortunately this specific strain in Uganda right now, called apparently the Sudan strain, does not have a vaccine yet. So help us God. But Ebola aside, or just accompanying the tour, I wanted to talk about tourism, because it feels like we are not getting a break. Guys, for those of you who don't know, tourism is very, very sensitive. When I say sensitive, I'm trying to think what thing is so sensitive that I can relate this to. This is because we deal with people all over the world. Imagine being in a business where you have to look perfect for this person. I cannot even try to explain it, but I'll say this: tourism is very, very sensitive, to the point that you who is watching me, you can affect it positively or negatively. And I'll give you an example. Last year, a video surfaced. It must have been last year or the year before. Last year, a video surfaced of tourists who are on a biking tour in, I believe it was Lake Mburo National Park. And they go to a certain point, then one of the locals there is like, you know what, go back. We do not want you. You're bringing your corona here, your COVID here. We don't want you. Please go back. That video alone, remember, we were still in those times of COVID. People were now being allowed into the country if you had been vaccinated, but still people had the fear, the locals had the fear, and they could not allow. So imagine a video like that making its rounds. What do you think other tourists will say? No, we are not traveling. They do not want us there. They think we are bringing COVID. And so the story goes. So because of that, when it comes to tourism, it's so sensitive that you as a person, what you put out there matters. When you tweet anything about your country, when you dare sneeze, that will affect this industry. And I know that makes it heavy. And I know that people look at it as it's for just the few, but no, it isn't. This, first of all, tourism brings in really the biggest percentage of the taxes, but also living alone that tourism is one thing that could benefit every single person. Everyone can benefit through tourism. We have the hotels, and hotels come with, of course, they come with food, they come with entertainment, they come with beddings, they come with, the structures themselves. So there is always a part somewhere where someone can just be part of it. Case in point, when you look at the local communities next to these tourism attraction places, for example, next to the national parks, almost all those local communities, they have had to venture into something where these guys can be able to support. So it's the same thing. You could be there and you make beddings, and you could tap into that industry. And you know what? It even goes beyond that. Let me ask you something. Do you have a story? Do you have that thing that sets you apart that you can sell? You can sell that, and you can be able to, whether it's your clothing or it's the food or it's, whatever it is, you can be able to sell it and position yourself with tourism. And that is why it really gets me to a point where I be very frustrated when someone just comes out of, I don't know, whatever is going through, whatever is going on in our nation, you just come out to put it out there because you don't know who will pick up on it. Someone will pick up on it and go with it. And guys, I'm not saying that we shouldn't put the cases of Ebola there. And I'm not saying that we should not be in touch with reality of what is happening. If you want to know that I'm in touch with what is happening, then tune into Spirit TV in the morning. You will know that I see what is happening in our country, but I also see the good. And I know how that can affect the industry that brings in the most, the industry that gets to, help us see what is out there, because we get to, bring in the different people, just get to learn from them as well, see what their expectations are. We get to play globally because of tourism. So for me, this video, even as we go through this phase, because we've barely survived COVID, guys, COVID hit tourism hard, very bad. And at this point, there's so many people within the tourism industry who are worried. Personally, I am hopeful. I really am hopeful, and I'm praying to God that we can be able to go through this. But when you look at different cancellations coming through, especially the last minute ones, postponements, it can be quite devastating. We have been through a high season. Even as I speak, we are still in the high season. So you know how much is riding, how much work we have put in, how much effort we have put in. So I just want to encourage you. The work, the words, the things that you put out there, they do affect tourism, and we do not want that. So that is all I wanted to leave with you. Ebola, the president recently came out to speak on it and says, you know what, there's no need for a lockdown, we shall be able to fight this. And I truly believe that, because look at Congo, one of the countries that have struggled with Ebola the most right now. They do pronounce themselves Ebola free. They are okay, so we can also make it to the other end. But guys, let's just be careful what we put out there, because what you have to say, what you have to write, whatever your views are on Uganda, those get to affect tourism. So I hope we shall just be mindful, but also access ways in which we can tap into this income, because I tell you, there are people whose lives change due to tourism. Within those areas next to these national parks, you will never know. Those young kids, those mothers, those fathers, everyone is looking for a way to tap into this, because the possibilities are endless. So I hope we can all see ourselves in that direction. Well, that brings me to the end of today's video. Get to subscribe, please like, share, and yeah, hopefully next time this will be all behind us. Bye and take care.